DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, GG Bet, and LG Ultra Gear.
The Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport has held the title of the world's busiest airport for 18 years now. Lots of airports claim to be the world's busiest. However, its 101 million passengers trumps any passenger movement in other airports around the world. It's just a 3-hour flight as well from most of the major cities in America. And its terminal is just as big as 45 football fields. And I'm going to assume that's American football because the one true football that's 100 yards across from start to finish. Of course, welcome to the DreamHack Open Atlanta. I'm going to have to give you a warm introduction as well as an introduction to our sponsors that make this all possible in Astro, Corsair, Monster Energy, Hacks, and New Belgium Brewing, who are certainly keeping it bubbly here inside of the World New Congress Center. Now that I've gotten all out of the way, let's go ahead and introduce my counterparts here. Guys, I do have a full analytical desk here in the likes of Dust, Moret, and Bach. My audio cut out there for a second. So.
It's okay.
Oh, you actually forgot our names for a second. I was
like, I thought so too. I was a little concerned.
I stepped on the cord and it just stopped.
Oh, okay.
What am I going to do here? Anyway, guys, welcome to Atlanta. I'm sure you guys have been here before.
I actually haven't. This is my first time being in Atlanta. So.
This is what I get for assuming.
Yes.
I've been here a couple times, so halfway right.
Halfway right. Well, guys, talk to me a little bit about what you've done so far here in Atlanta. Let's hear the nitty-gritty. Let's hear the stories that maybe you might not be willing to share on stream.
That's probably not a good idea, Trace. That's probably why you don't share them on stream.
That's what you think. What do you got?
I mean, we had food.
We did have food last night.
That's the PG version. We had food.
Anything you could tell the viewer at home?
There was a very lucky thing that we touched on the way out.
Yeah, we went to the Vortex Bar, so if you're local to Atlanta, you know there's a giant something when you walk through the front door that you can touch for good luck. Yes.
It's large.
So,
well, I, for one, went to this place called the Hudson Grill and watched a little bit of that great American football. And I just felt like American again. I haven't been in America in a long time, and it just feels good, guys. So thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. That does it for the show. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We got all the nitty-gritty out. Yeah. No, we do have...
That's all we had to say.
Oh, a ton of Counter-Strike is what we do need to be saying. In fact, we do have 8 teams here vying for that spot on the board, but we need to take a look at the groups first, and perhaps we do it this way. Dust, walk me through Group A.
Yeah, I mean, with Group A, you have basically a lot of struggling North American teams right now, like Luminosity's facing relegation. They've already been demoted to Mountain Dew League. Envy's on the verge of being relegated in the Pro Leagues as well. Complexity, you know, had a great major, but then really struggled afterwards. They had a decent CS Summon event coming into here, so maybe they're picking back up. Then you have E-United, who are all over the place with their roster right now. I think they have signed Cooper, but I don't think he's playing at this event. They only just recently got Finesse to be the in-game leader, so a lot of instability over on that side. So there's a lot of storylines packed into Group A.
And Group B, what do you got for us, Bach?
Well, it's kind of bizarre, right? Because we had Fragsters coming into this as like maybe a potential favorite coming out of Group B, but now they have a sub-5th, who I don't even think we know yet.
It's
maybe
HS.
It's
HS.
Okay, so we kind of got a last-minute sub coming in from them. Ghost now looks like the hands-down favorite of the group. Vitality, no one really knows what to expect, so I think that Group B is kind of more of a coin toss as to who the second team is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think the first team, it's obvious it's going to be Ghost to most of us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's pretty spot on. Good job, Bach.
Good job. Nailed it. In fact,
so yeah, I'm good.
Right away, it's all done, said, and wrote into the blocks. But of course, all of this is all culminating under the month known as November, or Movember for short. In fact, I'm participating in this, and you might wonder, like, hey, why do he have highlights? Why is his mustache also slightly some color of blonde? Well, that's because stretch goals were met, donation goals were hit, and in fact, there were a few victims of those goals, and I being one of them in Chicago. We're going to continue that on here in Atlanta. So, without any further ado, perhaps we take a quicker look inside of what is CS Movember. That's right, Movember is in full swing and it all continues here. There's one man that I would like to see more than any other man with a mustache, and that is going to be the likes of Anders. And in fact, I think if we reach that same stretch goal, Jordan Nothing Gilbert, that's right, Nothing, flashbang dancing dude, that guy will also have to get himself a mo. Now, let's also head over to that URL at DreamHack. What is that? I do
J. That's a J.
Yeah, it's a G. Yeah, oh yeah, it's all right here. DreamHack or dh.je/csmo. Head over there right now and keep these stretch goals coming because men's mental health is no joke. Men's health is also no joke. And as 3 men, I think we can all be on the same page with that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a pretty bad health scare this year, and being proactive really saved me a lot of suffering. I think it could save a lot of people out there. So definitely be proactive about your health.
Be proactive about it. In fact, we could be proactive as we continue the show here. Awesome. Because it's about time we start talking about Complexity and Envious, guys. This is going to be our first matchup of the day, kicking it off with a banger, or lack thereof, dare I say, as we take a look at the brackets, depending how we want to look at this one, honestly. There's been quite a bit of talk about this Envious lineup and what they're going to be bringing, so it should be interesting to see what they can do here on LAN.
Yeah, it's not been good for them online, that's for sure. They kind of got lucky that they got to play Renegades while they were in Australia, so they avoided getting automatically demoted to Mountain Dew League, but definitely still facing relegation. Have really looked rough. Already made a roster change since the initial lineup was picked up a few months ago. Definitely coming to this a really heavy underdog against a Complexity team that, you know, I think a lot of people are hoping or expecting should do much better than, you know, kind of what they showed us at Starlighter.
And one of the biggest things for me looking at this team is they have Nifty, but like if I'm Nifty right now, how frustrated am I? Yeah. I just left a Renegades team that maybe we weren't winning everything, but we were having some moderate success, and now I come to a team that's having no success.
Right. How about,
it's got to be disappointing.
Save yourself, guys. Save yourself, because it's time for 3 reasons brought to you by HacksGG and, of course, Bach deliver that down the pipe.
So 3 reasons why Complexity will win. Reason number 1 is going to be Stanislaw's leadership. I mean, hands down, when you look at the leadership across both teams, I think Stanislaw is one of the best IGLs in North America. He also is a puppet master. He likes to control every aspect of the game. And I think that the pieces for Complexity are finally starting to work with that leadership in conjunction with the coach behind them in Rambo. Reason number 2 is actually going to be the stronger map pool. Envy has very poor results on numerous maps, and the bans actually line up for both teams, which favors Complexity, because Complexity's good maps are better than Envy's good maps, even though they're the same. And then reason number 3 is going to be the yay factor. I mean, that man has a beautiful smile. Everyone loves him. He's a meme. He's going to have fun, and once he starts having fun, I think everything for Complexity is just going to amplify.
And that was 3 reasons brought to you by HacksGG. A fabulous thing that they're doing here. And of course, content brought to you by them will be here all weekend, especially as we go into our first matchup here of Group A, the Group A opening matchup. But first, we need to find out what map we're going to. This is a best of 1. This is not a best of 3. Anything could happen here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, Envy only has a positive win rate on a single map out of the 7, which is Mirage.
Yeah.
So that would probably be where they would want to steer towards. Maybe Cash is something that they've played a lot. And I think that, you know, Complexity obviously super good on Inferno, but also can play some Cash in Mirage. So I would expect it to kind of go that direction.
Yeah, I'd say that Overpass and Train will probably be the first 2 bans, and you could flip a coin as to who bans what first. And then Nuke should be out of the way not that long after.
Right.
Well, time will tell because the bans are rolling in now, boys. Let's see if your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, exactly the way we expected to go so far. Envy, respect bans, Inferno, that was really smart. So yeah, we're going to wind up on Cash or Mirage. It looks like it's going to be Cash. Okay.
2 North American teams ending up on a North American map in Cash. It could have really been Cash or Mirage. It was really, if you actually look at their head-to-heads, they're tied 1-1 in the last couple months, and they played Cash and Mirage. So it wasn't really a surprise at all that we'd end up on one of those 2.
Well, no surprise that we should also start to take a closer look at the teams on the stage. We're just starting with Envious or Envy. I'm not real sure what to call them. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a, dare I say, identity crisis. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
JDM, Poyo, Cutler, Nifty, and Drone. And there are some promising names within this lineup. And I guess, generally speaking, yes, you're going to see HLTV ranking 87th. That's pretty far down the list. But what were some of the conceptions of this team from the get-go, right when Envy said they were coming back to Counter-Strike?
I mean, it didn't look good right off the bat. I mean, when they got the lineup, you could understand, okay, like they had to get this core because they wanted to keep an EPL spot, so they needed to maintain people like Drone, like Cutler, like Simphus originally was on the team as well. He's already been removed. But, I mean, there's just a lot of issues there because, one, you're bringing in Nifty, who is a former Opera and in-game leader, and he's doing neither role for this team. You've brought in JDM, who, you know, hasn't played a LAN match in almost a year probably, or at least not, you know, at a bigger event like this. And so, yeah, there's just, a lot of identity crisis there with roles. And also, there's just no clear star player on this team. Like, no one has been really performing well on a consistent basis in the EPL. Every now and then, someone will have a big game, like JDM will have a big game, or, Nifty will have a good game, but nothing at any level of consistency. Like, they are really struggling to find their identity with this team. I
feel like that's maybe the biggest threat to Complexity is potentially the double op setup that you could see come out from Envy with Nifty and JDM both being able to carry the op. Maybe there's that star player factor that could get them some rounds, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. And if you expand their stats out as well, we have to remember that this team was also playing under the Boxer tag not that long ago before they were picked up. Their stats are actually 10 and 30, so it looks even worse when you start expanding over the past couple of months, looking at what they were before. It's just, I really have low expectations for this roster.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for what happened, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, they would have been automatically demoted to the Mountain Dew League when the only professional league they're playing in is EPL. Now they do get a chance to play for relegation because they were able to beat Renegades, but I mean, yeah, 6-16 record in the EPL, very much towards the bottom. Again, no one's consistently performing well. It's like, who can I rely on to put up big numbers on an in-and-out basis? You hope JDM's going to return to star form with the AWP. He used to be, the #1 opper in the North American region, or maybe like #2 right behind Skadoodle. But again, it feels like no one on this team has really been impressive on an in-and-out basis.
Yeah, it was always considered sort of an enemy at the gate scenario, if you will, between Skadoodle and JDM. Where in which, Skadoodle continues on, JDM kind of falters off, goes away from Liquid. He has hit this time off, and this is his resurgence. But I think one key talking point within this team is also going to have to be Poyo coming into play this weekend, or what's going on in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's a last-minute sub-in. I like Poyo as a player, and I think that Poyo does give them a little bit of a boost over Semphis. I think that Semphis' numbers have definitely dipped in recent years. They're not necessarily where he used to be. And even though he went away from the op and finally went back to rifling now that they brought in a true op presence, I still think that Poyo is an upgrade for this team. I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Probably not going to be enough against our next team. It's going to be that of Complexity, also known as Complexity Gaming, hailing from the Lone Star state of Texas. It's going to be Shazam, Def, Stanislaw, Ye, and Android. Now, this is a team that made waves at the Major, and, well, since then, what have we had?
Yeah, I mean, they went dead last at Star Ladder right afterwards. They weren't even competitive in that tournament. Huge losses to Big and Renegades, teams that they were able to beat that level of team over at the Major. So it was definitely a big fall off. They also missed out on playoffs for both ECS and EPL, at least avoided relegation, but again, nothing really too impressive. And then, really the only high mark for them lately is the fact that they at least placed top 4 at CS Summit. They won some best-of-3s against G2 and Heroic, only losing out to Optic twice, which has kind of been their rival even at DreamHack Open events. They're not going to be here, obviously. So yeah, I mean, this is a team that is hard to put your thumb on because you've definitely seen promise. You can definitely see on paper that they have some pieces to work with. Having Stanislaw as an in-game leader is great. He's definitely, a veteran at this point in that role. He's actually one of the guys that can frag in the in-game leader position, like a Steel, like a Nitro. So he's definitely great to have, and Shazam is probably one of the more stable operators in the NA region right now. So you have some great pieces, and you have some youngsters that can pop off. But the problem is with Complexity lately is I feel like Def and Ye, who were so good as like an entry rifling combo at the Major, they have not played as well lately. I think that's really been one of the biggest problems Complexity is facing right now is they're not getting those consistent performances anymore.
Imagine saying that like a year ago. Shazam is the most consistent opper in North America.
That's from North America.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, when you really look at it, over the course of his career, he's always been very flashy with his op, and he would have really big, impactful games, and then follow that up with a dud. You can even just look at his time with Cloud9, and that was basically the epitome of his time with Cloud9, was big games followed by nothing. But at the Major, he was fantastic, and not even with the op. If you actually look at his highlights, a lot of that was done with a rifle.
Yeah. I also think they're kind of scrambling just a little bit, because I know that we're going to be playing Cash because we already got to see them at Veto. And I noticed at Summit they've been actually swapping a lot of positions on their T side, so it feels like they're starting to get a little bit concerned about maybe what roles people are playing. Def, they were kind of using him, outside the B-bomb side and stuff like that. Now they have him kind of playing back at Squeaky Doors, so they've been changing up their T-side spots. This is definitely a team that I think is going to be better structurally. I think that they do have the ability to kind of play like a system Stanislaw likes, maybe allowing guys like Ye and stuff to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more loose, but they can rein it in and play some more structured set pieces and stuff like that. So they have a good mixture, a well-balanced approach to the game, something I feel like Envy doesn't really have right now.
Well, you want to talk about balance, you want to talk about bringing it back in, honing it in. That's what we're going to do here with the fan vote brought to you by LG Ultra Gear Gaming. And that's right, the gaming monitors that'll let you see all the hertz and all the refresh rates that you could possibly think of. And, well, you can get involved in the chat by using !Cole or !Envy. And And let's see that chat light up. I know all of you are sitting there on your Friday morning in your underwear, eating cereal, just ready to get it going. But this is how you really kick off the weekend. And in fact, as we take a look at the betting odds here, or I don't bet. I mean, you guys don't bet, right?
No. That'd be a big no-no, Stunna.
If we take a look at the betting odds, did the numbers look accurate to the storyline we painted?
Sure. Yeah, I think Complexity is certainly the favorite, and this makes sense, yeah.
I'd say, if anything, you could even see it go a little bit more in favor, like better odds for Envy if you were to place a bet on that side, simply because even knowing that the map does work a little bit better for Envy than maybe some of the other maps they could have ended up playing, and it is a best of one, I still think that it's easily going to be Complexity's game.
Well, we've got just a few extra minutes here. Of course, the first game of the day, opening day here for the DreamHack Open Atlanta. Of course, things are going to take a little bit longer. But I guess I need to ask you guys, when it comes to these two lineups, we obviously know where Envy stands. We know that this isn't necessarily the flashiest of teams that's come out. We do know the Complexity's faltered. Is there a world in which Complexity is going to fall lower when it comes to, I guess, rankings, when it comes to longevity here?
I mean, again, I think there has been some real concern compared to the individual form we saw out of Ye and Def at the Major to what we've been seeing more recently. Stanislav's been a stud. He's been playing really well. Shazam's been really stable. Android's always kind of been a guy that's not going to be like your star player that carries you, but can do his job and be kind of that stable rock. But Ye and Def are that entry rifling combo that, are doing really good work for them at the Major, really good work for them at the Americas Minor. I feel like their stats have kind of fallen off, and you've seen that now they've actually kind of put Stanislav being more active on a map like Cash, which we're about to see. They've kind of put Def back on the edge of the map. So I do kind of wonder, are they scrambling? Are they panicking? Are these calculated adjustments to their T side? Are Ye and Def going to be able to step back up? And so, really the point I'm trying to make here with Senna's question is I think that Complexity trajectory will rely heavily upon what Ye and Def look like going forward.
Yeah, and I think the fear right now, if you're one of those two players, is that if things continue to just kind of be mediocre, like you'd mentioned, surviving relegation effectively, not getting relegated, that's been Complexity's praise point for multiple seasons, not getting relegated. That's not a success. That's mediocrity. So
at its best.
Yeah, I mean,
really.
So it's been a problem for them for a long time, this just string of mediocrity. If I'm one of those players, making it out of groups is not good enough. I have to at least make it to the finals, or otherwise I'm kind of concerned about my safety in the roster, because if Complexity might want to consider making a change at that point.
And look, Jason Lake has been very forward with this messaging in like the different content Complexity does with like POV and the podcast, that he will make moves if he feels it is necessary. So yeah, I do think there is maybe that added pressure for some of these guys.
I'm going to add some pressure onto you guys. We're going to get into some predictions here. I know we've kind of painted the picture of what we expect to happen, but I think at this point I need you to actually ink it in, lock it in on stone, and let's see what your predictions are going into this one.
I'm going to have to go with Complexity. I just think they're ahead on all fronts. Strategy, consistent consistent performances from their players, a good map for them and Cash. So yeah, I got to give it to them.
Complexity, not even close. I would be surprised if Envy gets 10
Double
rounds.
digits? Okay.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
Damn.
I think it's like a 16-8, 16-9 type game.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, just one of those games where if you look at the scoreline, it's never one where, this team had control of the match at all. I also have to side with Complexity, but no bias towards Jason Lake and crew. I'm a big fan of what they got going on over there. I think that they're doing it just right. Anyway, I asked you in Twitch chat to get involved. I asked you to put your votes in there. I actually asked you to just spam the chat.
Ooh.
And we're going to take a look. Oh, wow. These numbers brought to you by LG Ultra Gear Gaming Monitor. Well,
a little bit closer than I thought.
Yeah, that's pretty damn close for what it's supposed to be. Why, guys? Why would Twitch chat believe it to be this way?
I mean, there's some popular names over on Envy, which are definitely great guys. And it's not like I want them to fail. It's just I haven't seen anything out of them yet that leads me to believe that they will succeed in this matchup. But, yeah, certainly some cool guys over there. And I can understand why, some people are fans for sure.
Yeah, and just like we were said, like looking at the head-to-head between these two teams, they played Mirage and Cash, and I think Complexity beat them on Mirage, and I think Envy beat them on Cash. So I can understand why
people... It was a close game, though. It was like 16-14.
Neither one was really like a blowout. They were both sort of close, but I still think this one, like, I think the stats from that vote were a little bit skewed. I would say that it's definitely a little bit more...
70-30.
Yeah, I'd say right there.
So that means Twitch chat, we need you to come together. We need you to do it right next time. Make sure that you're all getting your votes in. There will be no hanging chads. There will be no collusion. There will be no recounts. There will be none of that. We're going straight for the cold, hard numbers that you provide in Twitch chat.
The cold, hard numbers.
Yeah, well.
I'll leave.
He'll be here all weekend.
Yes, nice. Anyway, you know who else is going to be here all weekend? That digital pass, should you buy one, brought to you by Snipe. That's the one way to get the true experience of this DreamHack Open Atlanta. Head over to dreamhack.com/digitalpass. Purchase that bad boy, and then smooth sailing, cruising the whole weekend. Isn't that right, Dust?
Indeed. Cruising.
Indeed. Well,
Nailed it.
like our next two who are cruising 24/7, might even call them cruising USA or cruising Denmark, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Anyway, we got our commentators. Let's go ahead and bring them into the fold. It's going to be Blue and Risk, guys. First and foremost, good job, Blue. You did bring a mustache to work today. That was part of the requirements. So, how's it going over there, fellas?
It's going pretty good. The mustache is feeling good, ready to rock, ready to get jump into the cast, really.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Really impressed by the mustache.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think it looks like crap, personally.
Yeah.
But
I can't grow anything, for months. So it's like, for me, it's
been like 3 weeks.
We can't all look good with the mustache, man. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have just a couple more seconds here before we get into the game. Anything you guys have enjoyed in Atlanta thus far? Waffle House, perhaps?
Waffle House, for sure.
Lemon pepper wings.
Lemon pepper wings?
Very nice.
Now that's a play.
I got this lemon pepper wet wings if you watch Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, like lemon pepper wet and also dry. It's both been really good.
I haven't had wings yet, unfortunately, but I'll have to try some this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You sound sad, Blue. I don't know what it is.
No, I think it's just early in the morning. I have to warm the voice up. We'll get good by the time we get to the cast.
Get that man a monster. And let's get into this damn game of Cash. Complexity versus Envy, and it's time to